If you want to increase your bench press numbers the fastest and safest way possible, adding weight on the bar every time you train is not the way to do it. Hey guys, Umberto from Umaxfitness here. So you have a very weak bench press and you can't find a way to get any stronger. You have checked and rechecked your form and you see no issue with that. I had the same issue some time ago. Prior 2013, prior my motorbike crash, my bench press was around 80 kilos at its best. On my motorbike crash, I broke my left shoulder, damaged my left hip and ankle. So for some time I was off the gym completely. When I got into bench press again seriously, it was already 2016, so we are talking about 3 years with no bench pressing. And from 2016 to 2021, I got stuck at 100 kilos. I couldn't get over this number. Back then, I wasn't really serious about getting those numbers up. Plus, my shoulder was still hurting, so I was like, okay, I better be more conservative and leave it as it is. During the pandemic, I thought I had the best chance to take care of my shoulders and maybe improve my numbers overall. During the time, I realized there are a few factors that can determine the amount of weight you're going to lift in future. The bench press is the most performed upper body exercise by males in any gym in the world. It tests your upper body strength, especially the capacity to press away. It works on chest, arms and shoulders. So to increase your overall bench press performance, there are 3 main things I would like to focus on. The number 1 is programming. With a program, you're basically planning where you want to be or where you want to go with your exercise routine, with your training, and so you're gonna be able to at least progress towards the results you're looking for. Remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So what a good program should have? You need to first to choose your exercises. You need to see what exactly need to achieve your goal. So we are looking at the specificity. Specific. Yeah, you need to check exactly what exercise you need, what you're failing on your bench press. We need to look at how to cause overload, how to progress, and so on. Another thing you need to look at when you're getting a program or maybe preparing your own one is to understand well where you are at fitness level. So if you're a beginner, you might see improvements every single workout that you do. So that's all right. There's a beginner gains, and that phase will not last long. When we go then at the intermediate level, you are possibly making a progress week by week. And again, that's very quick to achieve and it won't last long either. So first phase is gonna last possibly max 3 months. Then from 3 months to 1 year is possibly intermediate level. After that, you're gonna plateau a bit and making gains is gonna be really hard. So you're possibly gonna see improvement on a month-to-month basis or even a yearly basis. Once you know exactly where you stand with your fitness levels, with your progress and where you want to go, then you can start to lay out the days you wish to train. It can be once, twice, 3 times a week. Obviously, if you want to improve your bench press like a pro, you will need to do more. I suggest to bench press at least 3 times a week if you want to see your numbers bump up really quickly. 3 times might seem a lot, but if you organize it well, you will see you will be okay bench pressing 3 times a week. If you read Starting Strength by Mark Ripto, you will see that he's suggesting you to divide your 3 training days with focusing on 3 different variables. So your day 1 is going to be a volume day, the day 2 is going to be a recovery day, and day 3, the intensity day. The volume means you are focusing on getting as many reps as possible with a decent amount of weight. So we are talking about 70%, maybe more than your 1 rep max, or you can focus, as it says on Starting Strength, on 80 to 85% of your Friday weights. I will personally use those variables a little bit different. The volume day, I will call it the hypertrophy day. That's the day that you want to do, yes, a lot of reps. They need to be heavy enough to cause changes in your body, physical changes over the time. So you want to focus on building some muscles. So the recovery days are more days that you focus on technique. You might need to have a specific assistance exercise to fix some specific bench press problem. And your rep range is going to be 10 plus in that case, so something that is not too heavy. If you're not sure about what kind of assistance exercise you can use to build bench press strength, I'm gonna leave a link up here for a video I prepared some time ago with the 10 best bench press assistance exercise you can use to actually build some strength. And then the intensity day. The intensity day is where you try to get really heavy with your weights. You don't want to do too many sets, and your reps will be possibly from 1 to 5. It depends on your on what stage you are on your cycle. Sets needs to be also just depends on what you want to achieve. So on the volume day, you're gonna have possibly 3 to 4 sets in total. When we talk about intensity, you can go from 6 sets, but with very low reps. And when we talk about recovery, you don't want to do more than 2 to 3 sets, just because you want to actually emphasize the recovery phase. You want to still keep muscle moving, but you don't want to hit it too hard. The second factor that can drive your weights up is going to be food. In order for you to be able to lift really heavy, you need to be in a calories surplus all the time. So if you try to cut down weight or to try to cut down some fat, you're possibly not going to get the best numbers ever on a bench press. Ideally, you want to increase your calories intake and possibly change also the ratio that you're using at the moment. You want to have a good split where you can build a good muscle mass and also a great amount of strength. Ideally, I would suggest a 40-40-20 split, where you have 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fat. So how many extra calories should you eat? Well, if you're doing bodybuilding style, to bulk up you might need at least 500 calories to get a good size. In this case, because you're working on strength, I would say no less than 1,000. 1,000 will be a lot of extra calories, so be careful because you're gonna have to give up your six-pack at the moment. And the third factor that can drive your bench press up is technique. If you're not sure your form is quite right, I'm gonna leave a link for another video, another bench press video on the description area and up here, so you can have a quick look at it once you're finished with this. When it comes to bench press, there are 4 main points I would like to focus on to generate the biggest strength ever. The first part is the grip. Don't go too wide, don't go too close. You need to find the comfy position where you can keep your elbows directly under your wrist and you're not gonna exert too much pressure on those joints, so you can generate the most strength in that position. Also, make sure that you squeeze the bar as hard as you can. The second thing is the bar path. The barbell, it should not be moving on a straight line. Actually, it's gonna go a little bit down when it moves towards your chest, to go back again up when it goes in front of your shoulders. So the bench press is one of the few exercises where the barbell does not move on a straight line. The third thing I will focus on is your lower back arch. That means that you need to position your feet far back enough in order for you to create this lower back arch and so get your chest out and get it closer to the barbell. That position is highly used by powerlifters, so it's a most preferred option because you can lift much more weight. Be careful not overdoing it, you might end up having back pain issues. The last one is the leg drive. Once you have your legs far back enough, you need to create tension and stiffen up legs and glutes before you lift. Once you get the barbell over to your chest and you are preparing to push it back up, you need to engage those legs and the glutes again even further to push the barbell up faster. When I talk about strength, I like to talk a lot more about strength chain, and your legs is the biggest part of your body that can generate this strength, that can generate power, and that can help you to push more weight. The main 3 factors that can influence your bench press performance. So we're talking about programming, food, and technique. And that's why you need a good grip when you bench press. Hey guys, this is Umberto from Umaxfitness. On today's video, I'm going to show you how to grip the barbell for your bench press. It is really important that you have a firm, strong grip when you bench press. There are a number of reasons why. The first one, you've seen from the beginning of the video, is quite dangerous. You don't want to put yourself at risk when you play with big weights. The second reason why you want to have a very good grip is that it helps with stability. If you don't have a very strong grip, you're going to have very unstable forearms and elbows, and so the shoulders. If that happens, it's like a chain reaction. You will have a big strength leak, we call it, and you won't be able to lift at your max really. Your hands are the main point of contact with the barbell, and the loss of strength is greater when you have pull grip. So it's worth to watch the video till the end and find out what you can improve on your bench press so you don't leave kilos out there. So let's first understand where to place the hands to have the best grip, the best strength for yourself. Remember that the wider you go, the more chest muscles you're going to use and less the triceps. If you go closer, it's the other way around. You're gonna use more triceps and less the chest. So you would like to find a place where you can generate the most strength from both muscle groups. I personally start from the ring because I'm quite a tall man, I got long limbs, so I feel kind of comfortable here, and then I work my way out using my fingers on the top of the ring here. I use my fingers as a reference, so I keep going wider till I find a sweet spot for myself. Another method you could use is possibly with your thumb, so you know your hands are equally spaced from the middle, from the center, so you should be at least very balanced in that position. You can start from here and then work your way out towards the rings or just a bit over the rings. So now we are going to the most important part of the lift, is how to actually grip the barbell. If you just place your hand on the bar, you're gonna notice that there is a kind of a small gap between your palm and the barbell itself. The idea is that you learn how to grip, putting more skin on the barbell, so you're gonna get more grip. How are we gonna do that? Simply by twisting your hands a little bit. I like to place the bar here, just following the lifeline of your palm of your hand. So you're gonna actually face inward, squeeze the hand really hard, and then get your elbow in position. This twisting motion will create a massive amount of torque on your hand and so on your forearms, and that will improve the grip automatically. Once you get a very firm contact with the barbell from your hand, you want to as well move your hands a little bit forward. This will engage more the forearm muscles, and you will increase the grip even further. So what's the advantage of this grip? Well, first of all, as I said, it's going to engage more your forearm. If your forearm is turned on, you automatically will be more stable when you descend and when you push back up again. Your shoulders will have to do much less work. There is less chance of any injuries, especially if we talk about impingements. And yeah, your rotator cuff as well will thank you for that. If you move the hand forward as I advised earlier on, you will also realize that your triceps will have opportunity to fire better. That will translate into a much more powerful and strong push when you get the barbell back up. Having a much stronger grip on the barbell when you bench press will make it easier to unrack the barbell on your own. It will make it more stable, more control on the descending especially, and that means you can lift more weight. The grip needs to be an essential part of your setup, and it is really important you pay attention on how you grip the barbell. If you want your bench press number to explode, there is only one thing you need to learn: the leg drive.
Leg drive.
What leg drive is?
Oh, leg drive.
The bench press is the greatest upper body strength exercise that every man training on this earth has been trying to improve from ever. But not many are taking consideration how what I call the strength chain works. The strength chain is just a way our body can transfer force from the ground to the upper limbs, and to do that, well, you need to know how to do it. All the best bench lifters use the leg drive because it provides more stability and helps you lift more weight. And today I'm here to show you step by step how to get the leg drive right. Once you lie down on the bench, you want to place your feet far back to the point that you feel a stretch tension in your quads. You don't need to go as far back as possible, as that can limit your action. I have recently posted a video on how to grow your chest by using the bench press and how you can increase your range of motion just by changing your leg positioning and setup. Here we are trying to do the opposite. Here we are trying to reduce the range of motion in favor of more weight on the bar. And to do that, your legs have to move a little bit back. Your feet need to be solid on the ground. Heels up or down, that's just a personal preference, and I personally perform better with my heels up. As long as you keep your feet solid on the ground and not moving them during the lift,
it doesn't really matter. Keeping the legs back in that position will automatically create a back arch. Some will look more aggressive than others, but it needs to be there. This change in setup will allow your chest to be closer to the barbell, and so you can move more weight for a shorter amount of time. Now the execution. Completing the setup, all you have to do is push with your legs. No, not like this. Like this. Yes, your job is to slide backwards. Pushing upward will move the hips off the bench and you will have a red flag. If you have a good grip on your bench when you use the leg drive, your chest will pop out even more, getting you closer to the bar so you can move more weight. But we will have a look at grip in a moment. The legs need to remain engaged from the moment you rack the bar to the moment you put it down. That doesn't mean you're going full power at all the time. You have to learn how to control your strength and how to time correctly the leg drive. A bit more relaxed while you descend the bar, and go full on when pushing back up. If that's something new for you, you might need quite a lot of reps to perfection that, and the best assistance exercise you can incorporate in your routine, it will be the post bench press. A common problem when using the leg drive is sliding off the bench if the bench is not really grippy. An easy way to fix this problem is by using a resistance band to place on the bench before you lift to increase the grip. I've seen people using these grippy mats that you put inside furniture like drawers and stuff like that, and they've been using it in the gym to get more grip on the back, but I never tried it myself. Or another option will be just get a good bench. Now that you've sorted the leg drive, the right assistance exercise can really make the difference. Here I have 10 lined up for you. Pick one or two, add them to your program, use them for some time and let me know how you get on.
So guys, you are looking for increasing the numbers on your bench press and you thought that an assistance or accessory exercise would be ideal for your program, but you don't know exactly what you're going for, you don't know what you really need. On the next part of the video, I'm going to show you 10 assistance exercises that will help you to bump up your numbers on the bench press. Remember that each of them solve a particular problem you might have, so stay tuned till the end. So you already bench press, but something doesn't feel quite right. Sometimes you feel all over the place, your shoulder might hurt, or your elbows are not in the right position, and as a result of that, the weight is not going up. It's really frustrating, but you are determined to improve, and that's why I'm here to help you out. My name is Umberto, and this is Umaxfitness, and on this channel we share tips and techniques on how to lift heavier whilst staying safe. If that's something you are interested in, consider subscribing then. Now the bench press variations. Let's start from the close grip one. It's one of the most popular bench press variations we know. Narrowing the grip will make your triceps work harder. This variation focuses on improving the top part of the bench press and the lockout. So if lockout is actually your main problem, this is the one to go for. The block bench press. This is not so popular because sometimes you require a partner to do this exercise. For this variation, we add a block made of wood or foam to raise the height of the bar. The focus of this variation is to work on the sticky point of the lift. If you manage to get the bar just off the chest and then get stuck, this is the one that will help you out the most. Bended or chain bench press. This variation will require a bit of a setup. The bands or chain are added to increase the load of the bar right at the top. The resistance reduces as you lower the bar so you can push it back up without a spotter. The idea of this variation is to increase the speed and lockout strength at the same time. When the resistance is lower, you can push the bar harder and faster, getting heavier at the top, making the lockout a bit harder. Slingshot bench press. This is one of the most popular variations thanks to Barbell and the Slingshot brand and products. This variation is focused on overload, and as an overload we mean we use a weight much heavier than usual, out of our league. It is very challenging to work with weights close to your 1 rep max. With this option you can also exceed that. As you lower the weight, the slingshot provides a load of resistance, taking away most of the pressure from the bar. The pressure comes back once you move the barbell back up. The slingshot variation helps you to build greater shoulder stability and improves lockout. Post bench press. This is a variation that is used the most by powerlifting athletes. Pausing at the bottom of the bench press is significantly more difficult, and that's why most powerlifting federations use this variation. When you lift from a dead stop, you take away most of the momentum and it reduces the bar speed to focus on strength only. If you feel like you are bouncing your barbell off the chest, or if you wish to take part of some powerlifting competitions, practice variation a lot. The dumbbell bench press. This is one of the most popular variations thanks to the availability of dumbbells in many commercial gyms nowadays. They are also very versatile because you can change elbow angles or weights at any point of your training session. They are also very unstable as the barbell stability is being taken away. If you suffer from shoulder pain, this might relieve the discomfort and help you with the healing process. Tempo bench press. This will take some time. The idea of the tempo bench press is to focus more on the eccentric part of the movement, so you can grow more muscle, gain more control and increase the barbell stability. You are also going to have more time to work on technique and prepare for the leg drive to fire. If your bench press is out of control or too bouncy, this is perfect one for you, and feel free to add a pause at the bottom of your lift. Floor or Larsen bench press. This is not so popular variation and is basically a bench press without your legs. All the strength comes from the upper body, leaving the lower part unsecured and unstable. Plus, you can push with your legs. If you tend to lift your butt off the bench when you bench press, you should consider this option. Pin bench press, or how I will call it, is a pause block bench press. The difference between this and the block press is the fact that you can adjust the pins at any height. Once the barbell touches the pin, you reach a sort of rest position that forces you to reactivate all your muscles again to bring the weight back up. The positive of this setup, if you fail, the pins will save you. Use this option if you want to go really specific on what you need to work on your bench press. And the last one, the Spoto press. This is essentially a standard bench press, but it requires you to pose with the bar about an inch or so above your chest. Popularized by the insanely strong Eric Spoto, the Spoto press teaches complete control of the bar without losing body tension that might occur if you pose up under your chest.
At the base of a strong bench press, there is always a rock-solid shoulder. If you want your bench press to go up whilst staying away from injury, you want stable shoulders to support your training progress. And to do that, today I'm going to show you my warm-up routine I use before bench pressing. While benching, you don't want your shoulders all over the place. You want them to stay tight. And a simple way to do that is to give your shoulders the right cues. If you're watching this video, you probably already know that you should keep your shoulders squeezed together and pinned down when you bench press. But can you actually do that? If so, can you do that for all the reps? The following warm-up will help you creating more shoulder stability and increasing your upper back endurance for your bench press. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a few execution tips that can help you to get a heavier bench press. Let's get right into that. For our warm-up, we need a light resistance band, and we're going to perform an easy circuit. It's very easy to remember because we are going to do 5, 10, 15 and 20 reps progressively. The first exercise is the shoulder dislocation. This is a dynamic stretch for chest and delts, and it helps loosen up the chest muscles and get the right range of motion without rounding your shoulders while benching. Remember, let the band pull you and you don't pull the band. The second exercise is the pull apart, and now we are preparing the shoulders to do what they are designed to do. Place your hands in front of you with the fists facing each other and pull the band apart. Maintain slightly bent elbows and bring your arms all the way back. We want to achieve a big squeeze on the shoulder blades, and once you reach to the full tightness, keep it like that and slowly move your arms forward to the original position. The third one is a standing row. This is just a basic row, and here I'm trying to mimic my bench press grip. As I pull back, I squeeze my shoulders together and I pin them down as I would do during a bench press. Once I get to the peak, I keep the tension on my back till I get to the original position. Number 4, triceps push down. With this exercise, I wanted to focus on using my arms and turn on my triceps, avoiding shrugging or using my body weight for momentum. When setting up, I keep my shoulders back and my arms tucked to my body to achieve maximum range of motion. When I get the full squeeze, I wanted to control the tension as I get back to my original position. I do 2 to 3 rounds of 5, 10, 15 and 20 reps, and then I possibly move straight to the barbell and warming up with just regular bench press. If after a couple of rounds of lightweight bench press I don't feel my chest firing, I might go and do some squeeze press for 15 to 20 consecutive reps as I'm warming up. This is just a variation of a dumbbell chest press, but it allows me to keep my shoulders under control as I'm warming up my chest. Squeeze the dumbbells together as you press them away and remember to avoid rounding your shoulders. Now I can show you a few tips that can help you keep your shoulders in position and have a more solid bench. Before unracking the barbell, try to hug the bench, squeezing your shoulder blades together and pin them down. The hard part is going to be maintaining this setup for the duration of the exercise. Now my second tip, when lowering the weight, imagine you're pulling the bar to your chest more or less like you did on my standing row. My third tip, when pushing the weight, don't focus on reaching out with your arms. Instead, think about locking your arms while maintaining the shoulders where they are. Imagine pushing yourself against the bench. I personally consider the bench press more an arms exercise that has the capacity to build strength and mass to the chest muscles as far as you have strong and stable shoulders. What do you think is the best way to make progress on the bench press? Just keep adding weight every time you train. Bench press at every workout. I max out at every training session. If any of these sounds like you, let us know in the comment below, because I'm here to tell you that none of these will actually work on the long terms. Do you enjoy being stuck with the same weights God knows from when? Are you motivated enough to put in the time and effort to actually make progress? Do you enjoy heavy lifting? I think we all share the same answers to those questions. I remember the time I was stuck at 100 kilos and it took years before the frustration, the pain and the anger reached such a high level that I wanted to give up. Instead, I went to do a lot of research and I read a lot of material on how to make an effective strength training program. I wanted to change the way I was training and I was ready to try something new and see what sort of results would present. So the first method I tried was a Texas program. I gave it a go for 12 weeks and I found it extremely simple, maybe too simple compared to what I was used to. I was a bit skeptical at the beginning, but 12 weeks later my 1 rep max actually increased by 7.5 kilos, which is not bad at all considering it was only for a 12 weeks period. After all, it takes time to grow your numbers and everybody grows at different rates. Not to mention there is always a possibility to get injured while you're training. I was personally very happy because I've seen the needle moving forward finally. So with today's video, guys, I'm here to share with you a very simple but hard program that you can plug in into your training routine that will help you to make some progress on your bench press. I will show you all the details in a moment, but you don't need to make any notes because I provided for you a PDF format that you can easily download by clicking on the link on the description area. To succeed, we need to make a plan that is simple but also smart. It needs to be specifically designed for your goal in mind. It needs to be measurable. So in that case, we're talking about percentages and tracking possibly. It needs to be actionable. It's something that you actually that you're capable of doing. It should not be exercises that are overcomplicated. It needs to be realistic. I mean, if your bench press is at the moment at 100 kilos, don't expect it to be at 150 kilos after 12 weeks of training. That's totally unrealistic. In reality, focus more on making progress of any sort and then test at the end. And then it needs to be time scaled. So we have a 12 weeks program, so we know it's going to be a 12 weeks training period, and we are possibly going for a test right at the end. Every good program is gonna talk about intensity. For me, intensity is an umbrella term for when we talk about sets and reps, tempo, rest, percentage of 1 rep max and RPEs, and frequency. Frequency plus reps and sets plus percentage of 1 rep max, it will give you the total volume of work that you're doing throughout the week. I've taken only 2 weeks for the program. You're gonna see all the rest on your PDF, but we can discuss here the main points and the main goals of the program. This is just a plug-in program. What does it mean? It means that you're gonna have only the focus exercise that we are talking about. So today is the bench press, and you can add those into your actual working routine that you already have. I will take off any sort of bench press or triceps exercise from your actual program and keep everything focused on only those. It is divided on 3 days. We are going to have a 3 days bench press, and we are having different intensity on every day. So we are having a high intensity, low intensity, and medium intensity. We are also having some changes on the exercises between week 1 and week 2. So there is a rotation on the exercise and some other changes like reps and sets. One exercise that will remain constant throughout your program is the competition bench. It's not the classic touch and go bench. Competition bench has some sort of pause when the bar is at the lowest, so when it's contact with your chest, with your sternum. A slight progression to the competition bench for me is a tempo bench, and that's something that I always suggest to my clients to do. The tempo bench is going to increase the length of the repetition you're doing to the point that you can actually have more control over the barbell. You're gonna feel your muscles working harder, and your brain is gonna have the time that it needs to process where the barbell is and what you're supposed to do next. And I find this to be especially great for those that are not good with the leg drive. If you don't know what the leg drive is, I'm gonna leave a link up here for you to go and have a look at our leg drive video. So on day 2, I also add dips. I know most of you will not like to do that, but I find them to be essential for strength gaining. On day 3, with the medium intensity, we are going to work on a close grip bench press, followed by skull crushers. Moving to the second week, we're gonna have again competition bench. Now we are going to have a wide grip bench press. So this will emphasize more your work on, the stretch on the chest. So we are going for hypertrophy in this case. And dips again. The W next to the dips indicates weighted. I know most of you might not be able to do the weighted dips at the beginning, but you can add some weights once the repetitions will go down. And then day 3, we're gonna have again a minimum intensity with close grip bench press and skull crushers. Let's look now at sets and reps. First week, 3x6 at 70% of 1 rep max. So they're not super heavy. There are not many reps, so they need to be controlled. When we have 6 reps, your tempo needs to be controlled. 2 seconds, maybe 3 on the way down, and then explosive when you bring the barbell up. Second exercise, the tempo bench press. And in this case, you want to control the weight for 10 reps. Your rest time between sets here, it should not be long, no more than a minute really. And you're possibly considering going to from 50% to 60% of 1 rep max. And then we have the dips, 3 times your max. If you can do 3, 4, fine. Try to work on it and see how many you can do after maybe the first 4 weeks. After that, we're gonna have reps and sets all pre-prepared. And if you find them to be too light, you can add some weights. On the third day, we are going to have a close bench press with 3x8 at 65% of your 1 rep max on your bench press. That should be plenty for triceps work. And again, it's an 8 reps. You don't want to go too fast. We are not talking about how many reps you can do in a minute. You want to gain control, you want to build muscle, and to do that, you need to have a controlled tempo. And then at the end, we have the skull crusher, 3x12. See what sort of weight you can manage. Just keep a track of it. We are not looking at percentage work in this case. You just use what you think is going to create a reasonable impact to your muscle mass. For those who don't know what tempo is, that's the time that it takes to perform 1 single rep. And it's generally divided into 3, possibly 4 parts. So I will make some notes here so you will remember. So let's say you're holding the bar at the top of your bench press for 1 second, okay? Then you lower the bar really slowly, so you're gonna control your tempo and you're gonna take maybe 3 seconds. At the bottom, you're gonna pause for 1, maybe 2 seconds. And then explosively, you're gonna bring the barbell back up again. So you perform your bench press and you try to do it as quick as possible, so 1 second. So in this case, your tempo is going to be 1, 3, 2, 1 or 1, 3, 1, 1, okay? So if you find this kind of indicative tempo on your programs, you know what to do. Going back to the plan, day 1 on the week 2 competition bench, now the percentage has gone up a little bit, but the reps has gone a little bit lower. So we are doing a 3x5 at a 75% of your 1 rep max. Yes, it's gonna feel heavier, but you're doing less work. On the day 2, we are going for a 3x12 for the wide grip bench press. Week 1, we had a 3x10 on the tempo. Obviously, it's because this is gonna take much longer to perform. Here, I'm not asking you to have a slow tempo as you did on this case. You're going a little bit faster, but you wanna make sure that you go wide enough to feel a good stretch on your bench press. If you're not sure about what you're doing for the wider grip, I have another video on how to grow your chest by using the bench press, and I'm gonna give you another link just up here. Dips will be there for week by week, 3 times your max again, record how many reps you're doing and see if you're making an improvement. Then again, day 3, you're having a close grip bench press, 3x8 at 65%, and then skull crushers, you do the same 3x12 for whatever you can handle. If you wish to increase the skull crusher weights week after week, if you feel confident, go ahead. On that case, for the skull crushers, you can work on RPEs, which is rate of perceived exertion. How bad it feels from 1 to 10. It feels a 7 out of 10 at the end. I will say you're possibly on the right number. You don't want it to exceed the RPEs when you train for lighter weights. But if you think like, oh no, there was a 6 or a 5, I could have done so many more reps with the weight, feel free to go up in weights on the same session. Remember guys, this is only a 2 weeks example. You're gonna find the full program for a 12 weeks period on a PDF in the description area. So go and have a look, click on the link, download the PDF format. You can print it and bring it with you, or just copy and paste onto your actual routine and see what happens after 12 weeks. Retest. If you need any help on performing your 1 rep max stacks, more than happy to help you out. If you bench press and the weight feels all over the place, you're not alone. If you bench press twice a week and you struggle to get the 70% of your body weight on the bar, you are not alone. The truth is that the bench press is really hard. If it's not done correctly, it can cause a lot of damage. The dropping or crashing of weights on the chest can crack ribs, and it can even cause suffocation. Repetitive incorrect form during bench press can cause rotator cuff injuries. I'm sure you already heard of that. And in some cases can also cause back pain, and you will see why. Let's take a look at some quite scary numbers. Among powerlifters, 18% to 46% of the injuries are actually happening during bench press training. That's almost half of all the injuries, and most of the reasons provided are excessive overload or overuse. Let that sink for a moment. You have 50% chance to be injured during a bench press. Let's also look at some other figures. Only 50 to 60% of males can actually bench press their own body weight, and that will put them right under intermediate levels. We as men tend to be really hard on ourselves, and we feel the pressure of the question. How much do you bench, bro? That makes you feel miles away from your goal, and not only that. Once you answer to that question, you have to prove the number no matter what, and here's where things can go wrong. By the way, what is your bench press goal and why? Are you competing? Are you bench pressing for yourself? Do you have a specific goal in mind? So just let us know leaving a comment. To keep you safe, I'm going to show you the most common bro bench press mistakes that can cause very serious injuries, and I'm gonna show you as well how to avoid them. Let's start from the thumbless grip.
This style of bench press has broken more ribs than Conor McGregor did. The only reason I see people loving this grip is because it looks cool. There is absolutely no benefit on bench pressing in the way. The hands cannot be fully squeezed, so the forearm cannot stabilize at its best, and so the triceps cannot fire fully. It makes absolutely no sense to me. If that's you, try to make this change. Grab the barbell using the lifeline of your hands and squeeze harder from the last 3 fingers. Once you get set to lift the weights off the rack, this grip will create more torque, making your wrist more stable. Move your hands slightly forward and this will turn on your forearm, creating more transferable strength to your full arm. Now your triceps can fire at full capacity as your arm is entirely engaged. That means you lift more weights and you don't get hurt. Let's now look at the shoulders. When you bench press, your shoulders are the base of the lift, the foundation of the movement. If your shoulders move out of position, so will the weight. And if that happens with repetition, it will cause some problems. One of the most common signs of injury during the bench press is the rotator cuff, a system of 4 muscles and tendons that surround our main shoulder joint. Their function is to move the shoulders and stabilize the joint. But the rotator cuff tendons are unfortunately a weak link in our shoulders, and without appropriate build-up and control, they can get inflamed or tear. To stabilize your shoulders, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Think about hugging the bench with your shoulders and pin them down. Now you need to learn how to move your arms without moving your shoulders from that position. Yes, that's right, your shoulders stay as they are and they don't move. You don't want to press your shoulders forward to lift the weight. The bench press is almost an arms exercise, and that is what people don't get quite right. When your shoulders are stable, you can control the weight and move it where and when you can generate the most strength. That means you lift more weight and you don't get hurt. Now it's time to move down to the legs. When I go to commercial gyms, this is often what I see. It looks like one of these shaman's dances you see on the internet. What I also see is this. Your upper body is working so hard to keep everything stable and strong that the last thing it needs is something moving on the lower part of the body. Your feet need to be planted on the ground and slightly back, so you can keep your legs tight and stable. Your legs are part of your strength building chain, something that boxers know very well. I hope you can now get the most out of your bench press, but if there is still something that you have not sure, you can have a look at our bench press playlist. We're done for this video today. Keep crushing those weights. I will see you on the next one. Ciao!